Most realtors, they think that scaling in the real estate sales business simply means closing more deals. But what if I told you that actually will bring you more stress? And if you really want to scale in your real estate sales business, you definitely want to follow this, because I'm going to go over 3 things that you need to scale right about now. So what is it that I used to think that I kind of don't think anymore, if that makes sense, right? So you learn from your experiences, you learn from your mistakes. So as a young realtor, I got into the business and I wanted to learn the business. That's the journey we all go on. And of course, I've taken the education, I paid for coaching, all that stuff helped. But as years went on, I felt like I was on this transaction treadmill, meaning if I don't sell, I don't eat, which is fine for a period of time, right? That's why you'll see big real estate agents that are doing successful things, solo agents that they eventually start a team, if you will. Because what they're really trying to do after they make money, they're trying to buy some of their time back. Because when you hit success, more sales sometimes equals more stress because there's only one of you. So the natural thing to do is leverage yourself with tools and people. There's only 2 ways you can leverage this business: tools and people. By tools, I mean systems and apps and CRMs, and with people, obviously, hires that you do, like your admin assistant, your listing coordinator, whatever you go through. So those are the 2 ways you can leverage. I'm going to really make this easy for everybody here. I'm going to go through 3 things that are really going to, change your life. And by changing your life, I mean living your life by design, not just chasing after the next deal, right? Not just cold calling and door knocking to no end. Those are important things. So let's go over the 3 engines that you would need, and the 3 engines that I really teach to the agents that partner with us, okay? And I'm going to give you the kind of framework of that today. So the first one is your deals engine. I'm not telling you things you don't know yet. Your deals engine. Your deals engine is simply making you profitable, because there's a difference between what makes you profitable and what makes you scalable. But without being profitable, you're not going to want to do this business anymore, because you have bills, you have a belly that you got to feed, you might have kids' bellies that you got to feed, you might want things out of your life like vacations and whatnot, savings accounts, mutual fund, other real estate investments. So you have to make money, obviously. But the way in which you make money cannot be a fluke. So let's just talk about productivity, and let's just talk about the way you are getting your business. You need to have systems in your business eventually, because a really good salesperson is just that. And you don't want to be just a salesperson. You want to be a business person that understands system, that understands management, that understands training, that understands, going out and getting technology to leverage your business. All of it. So, in short, your deals must be 2 things. They must be repeatable and predictable. A lot of the times, including my younger self, let's talk about me. One of my real estate coaches, I flew out to see him for a one-on-one back in the day. And he says to me, he's like, okay, so I think at that point I went to see him in the summertime. So year to date, I think I was at about 60 deals or something like that, right? I think I went to go see him in August, and I was from January to August, I was already at 60 deals. So what he asked me was, he's like, Rick, how are you getting the majority of this business? And I was like, referrals. And he's like, okay, talk to me about your referrals. I had nothing to say. So I didn't have a system to get to repeat and referral business. Because I didn't have a system, I was fluking my referrals. And so when my friend would call me and say, hey, my wife and I are looking to sell the condo and buy a house. And I'd be driving in the gym. I'm like, cool. Let's go. I'll be there tonight. So I go and I do that. And then I get to the gym. You know, if you guys go to the gym at the same time all the time, you're going to see the same people. I've done a lot of business right at the gym, not going to lie. So when I get to the gym, meet somebody else I wanted to buy or sell, and then I would just, you know, those are kind of like referrals. But I didn't have a system. So what he called it was referrals by accident. That's why I never got to like these 3, 4, 5, 600 deals at what my peers had in the same coaching program midway through the year, and I was only at like 60. I was good at what I did. I was good at conversion, but I didn't have systems. Okay, does that make sense? So the systems that you choose to use can be simply whatever you like. But what I do suggest is pick a system, perfect it, then add another one. So your deals engine is, you can wake up January 1st and have a good idea in forecasting how many deals you're going to get from that system. Your referral and repeat. Boom, I'm going to get 20 deals from that. My online lead generation with my inside sales agent or my inside sales AI at this point, I'm going to get 20 deals from that. Whatever the case may be. So now you have a business that can be tracked, that can be forecasted, that is predictable. So your deals must be predictable. Now, the second engine that you really want to work on, okay, so deals engine we just talked about. Your second engine is your brand engine. I didn't understand this because I got licensed back in 2004, 2005. And back then, social media wasn't a thing. So branding back then was very expensive. You know, the top realtors back then, they had billboards, radio, bus shelters, flyers, farming flyers. That stuff can get very expensive. And me starting out, I didn't have that kind of bankroll to do that. I aspired to be like that, but we'll talk about that on another video, why I didn't want to. And the hint is because the gross profits were just so small and the overheads were so big. I didn't want that lifestyle where, I had to work on deals just to pay my overhead and my marketing. And the days I don't get deals, I'm stuck in the red. The gross profit for a really successful team, 10 to 20%. That's it. 20% is rare these days. Okay. But now as time went on, with social media, you can build a nice brand. I'm kind of doing it right now. Thanks to all of you. I have about 1 million views on my YouTube channel. So thank you. Give me a like, subscribe, and I will keep doing this stuff. So I do appreciate you all for following the channel. So this is free for me. Well, I got to pay, my video guy. But other than that, it's not that expensive. It's not like getting 5 billboards out there. So if you cater your business, right now, I'm catering my business to the salesperson because, I'm building an organization of salespeople, realtors at that, where I can really help through scaling their business. But for yourself, people that are busy on the field, buying, selling, helping people buy, sell, invest, well, you should be, catering your brand to just that. So there's awesome channels I can refer you to that are doing this really, really well. There's people in my organizations that are killing it with YouTube as well. So just hit me a comment and I will reply to you if you want to know how to do that. So when it comes to your brand engine, it really brings authority. Branding is huge. It's huge because there's only 2 ways you can do this business. You heard me say it before and I'm going to say it again. You talk to people you know, and you talk to people you don't know. It's simply just that. So the people you know are called your sphere of influence, and they're also watching your brand and your authority. And then the strangers you are attracting through your brand and authority. Your conversion rate for people that you know is also going to go higher with your brand and authority because people want to be around successful people. So if you're spitting out knowledge and you're showing that you're successful, not by the car you drive, by the way. You know, you can pull up in a Ferrari and be a complete numbnut when you speak, you know. That doesn't gonna build your brand. That's not gonna build your authority. If you have both, cool. But what I'm saying is what attracts people in working with you is you earning their trust. And the way that you earn people's trust is you show them that you're the expert at what you do. And by being the expert at what you do, you get all these other things. But people will always know if you know what you're doing, just in the way you articulate yourself. So going back to the deal engine, one of the things that we teach is high conversion. And how you get to high conversion is simply being the pro, knowing things that need clarification to your audience, which are your prospects that you want to turn into clients. You need to be an expert at real estate. With your brand engine, you need to showcase that through your, YouTube, your Instagram, your LinkedIn. Don't sleep on LinkedIn either. I did. Thanks to my wife. She's like, you got to get on LinkedIn, and it's helping. So obviously, work on your brand. That's going to give you longevity. That's going to give you higher conversion. And the third engine that we teach here is basically your wealth engine. Confused? Well, your deal engine is not your wealth engine, right? Because as good as you are in sales, you also have to think about how you have to also understand how money works. Leave me a comment and just say money, and I will do a whole video on how money works. But most people think of wealth as a pool of money. Picture like a swimming pool of money. And how much you stack it is how rich you get. That's not true. That's not how it works. Obviously, as real estate professionals, you know that using that pool of money, buying assets that make you money through appreciation and cash flow is what helps you build your net worth. Money just sitting in the bank is just getting lower in value because of inflation. So, what does a wealth engine mean? Here's what it means to me. Here's what wealth means to me. You're using your pool of money to make more money. But now in today's day and age, it's not all about just money. It could be your services and what you bring to the table. I'm going to get to that in a second, and how I believe is the best way to build your wealth engine as a realtor. So now let's go back to that pool of money. Now picture a river of money. That's what we call cash flow. The more cash flow you have, the better you feel, the better your lifestyle is. Because if you have like $1 million saved and you might feel like you're a millionaire, cool. But that $1 million saved in a bank account not making you any money doesn't make you wealthy. You're going to feel really broke if you're making $0 a month in cash flow. That million's just going to go. You got expenses. So the cash flow is what's going to make you feel secure. It's going to make you feel rich. As your assets grow, your cash flow grows. All right. And then the third part of wealth is generational, which I won't get to in this video, but things like life insurance policies for you and your kids and all that kind of stuff. So that's how, the real players play. But that's not what I'm talking about in this video. I'm talking about the 3 engines that's going to help realtors really scale their business. Right now, I'm on the third one, which is your wealth engine. So now as a realtor, there is choices out there that you can make with your real estate license to join a cloud brokerage. And people watching this video that haven't researched a cloud brokerage, the one I chose was eXp Realty. Look, I don't have eXp tattooed on my body, but it is the best vehicle for me for my real estate license to be in. It's the fastest one. And one of the parts that I really like about it is something called revenue share. Revenue share helps you build cash flow. Now, if you want to 10x your cash flow and you really want to feel like a G, you really want to feel wealthy, well, add a word to it. passive, or residual cash flow. That is the king of kings when it comes to wealth. That is the queen bee of wealth. Residual income. You know, you ever heard that saying, make money when you sleep? Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about with your wealth engine. So yeah, you know, there's a lot of ways to make wealth with your money, but I'm showing you a way to make wealth residually, passively, with not money, but with a compounding program in new brokerages. See, the traditional real estate brokerage is traditional. I'm not going to say it's gone, but it's traditional. Just like Blockbuster was traditional and Netflix is not. It's the opposite. Just like taking taxis was a normal thing back in the day. But today, a lot of people take Ubers. So your traditional brokerage model was a big thing for many years, and I'm thankful for it because it took me out of my 9-to-5 and it gave me financial freedom. So thank you to all the legacy brokerages. But in my opinion, and you're watching my channel, so you're going to listen to my opinion, if you're a realtor and you're still practicing in a traditional brokerage, you either haven't done your homework or you're not a visionary. Because everybody should be taking advantage of the new way that the realtor can make money. Okay? So those are your three wealth engines. And in order to scale your, those are your three scaling engines, wealth engine being one of them. Let's review. So you have your deals engine, you have your brand engine, and you have your wealth engine. What we do right here in our organization, we help you work on all of it. And I can only practice what I preach. I've crushed deals, I've built a good brand, and I've built wealth using the techniques I talked about in this video when it comes to revenue share. Obviously, I built wealth through investing in real estate, but that's not what this channel is about. There's a lot of good channels out there about that. Maybe those are things you want to learn about. And if you want, I can give you a video on that. But those are the three engines that we are using to help realtors scale. And if you want to know how to scale your business, hit me up. You know, send me a comment. I will get back to you. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. We'll see you on the next one.